Our roads right now look like grey apple crumble. And I swear there are more craters on a typical UK high street than there are on the entire surface of the moon. And yet, we pay a fortune just to drive. Fuel duty at the pumps, annual vehicle excise duty, luxury car supplements, and of course, those little yellow envelopes, you know, those sweet love letters we find tucked under our wipers from an anonymous admirer every now and then. Well, you know, love doesn't come cheap. But I digress. In total, UK motorists pump about £24 billion a year in fuel duty alone into the Treasury. Add VED, which raised £7.4 billion in 2023-2024 and is forecast to climb to past £9 billion for 2025-2026, so currently, plus billions more in parking charges and penalty notices, and the motoring kitty is hovering around £35 billion every single year. £35 billion. And yet somehow we're still forking out for rising dental bills as we crack our teeth when the front left drops into a pit of doom you never saw coming on a dark, wet Tuesday night. So where does our money actually go? Is it enough to fix our roads? Or are we just funding everything else while driving on the sort of terrain that would challenge a Dakar rally car? Well, let's get into all of that right after this.
A brown car guy.
Where does that money go? Fuel duty and VED were once ring-fenced in a road fund created in 1909. It was meant to pay for new roads and repairs, but that arrangement didn't last. The hypothecation was ended by the Finance Act in 1936, and from 1st of April 1937, motor vehicle taxes were paid straight into the government's Consolidated Fund. The road fund was formally abolished in 1956. In modern jargon, your fuel and road taxes, we call it, go into the same pot as everything else, so schools, hospitals, defense, everything. Vehicle excise duty itself is no longer a dedicated road repair charge. The Treasury confirmed that the proceeds from VED, just like most other taxes, feed the general budget. Even the expensive car supplement, which is on cars that are over 40 grand for petrol and 50 grand for EVs, which some people call that the luxury car tax, well, that's just another higher VED brand. So is anything ring-fenced for the roads, so to speak? Yes, but only at the local level. Section 55 of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 requires councils to use surplus from parking fees and fines on transport projects. In England, 295 councils made £2.163 billion from parking in 2024-2025, spending just over £1 billion and banking a surplus of £1.094 billion. London alone issued more than 9 million penalty charge notices last year, and all of that income is ring-fenced for transport schemes like the Freedom Pass. That's for free travel on public transport. Talking of which, Transport for London's road user charges, so the congestion charges and ULEZ, ultra low emission zone, etc., low emission zones, that sort of thing, they brought in around 956.7 million in 2024-2025. And TfL must reinvest any net revenue in improving London's transport network. So, local surpluses go into buses, cycle lanes, concessionary fares. But the national taxes that you pay at the pump are not earmarked for those, or certainly not for potholes as such. So what shape are our roads in exactly? Well, according to the Asphalt Industry Alliance's 2025 ALARM, A-L-A-R-M survey, the backlog of carriageway repairs across England and Wales is almost £17 billion. Local authorities say they need a one-off £16.8 billion injection to bring roads up to a standard, and an extra £7.4 million per authority each year to stop further decline. Last year, only 1.5% of the network was resurfaced. Councils filled 9 million potholes at a cost of £137.4 million. Plus, you know, it's not just the size of the backlog, it's the false economy of reactive repair. The local government association points out that the planned surface treatments cost only £3.50 to £8 per square metre. However, filling potholes cost about £81 per hole. In motoring terms, that's like you driving your car forever without ever servicing it, and then being surprised by the fact that the engine is seized up and you've got a big bill for a new motor.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.
So to be fair, the pothole situation appears to be on the government's to-do list. So in response, the government has announced £24 billion over the next 4 years to maintain and improve the road network. It has launched a £7.3 billion local roads package, effectively doubling annual funding for councils. There's also a new £500 million uplift contingent on councils publishing maintenance data. On top of that, there's a £1.6 billion pothole fund and a separate £1.4 billion earmarked to support electric vehicle uptake and $400 million for the new charging infrastructure. Interestingly enough, that actually puts the total at around, what I earlier mentioned, £35 billion. It puts it around that. Although don't forget, this is kind of spread out over several years, and it's not just for potholes, it's for those other infrastructure needs as well. So will that clear up the backlog? Maybe. But remember, the backlog is already approaching £17 billion. Like I said, the new investment is spread over 4 years and must cover everything from resurfacing to infrastructure to upgrades. So at the same time, it is also worth mentioning that fuel duty revenue is projected to decline as more people move to driving electric vehicles. Meanwhile, the government is still shoveling that money into the general budget. So will the investment that they are setting aside for the roads, will it ever be enough to catch up with the actual state of deterioration that we suffer every time we go out and drive on these roads? Don't forget, we get an outbreak of the pothole pox after every winter due to the rough weather, and the incessant rain like we've had this year really doesn't help. And this happens every year. And often they're just filling in the same potholes over and over again because they never really fixed them properly in the first place. And that's at £81 a pop, or pot, or you know what I mean.
This is the only comprehensive guide to car journalism and content creation. The Ulez Files is a novel, an all-action thriller with great reviews on Amazon.
A collection of 13 short stories written over 20 years featuring cars, sci-fi, and stories about the human condition. Please buy Brown Car Guy's books, available on Amazon.com or Kindle Unlimited.
Good roads are not a trivial luxury. Smooth, reliable surfaces keep travel times predictable, reduce vehicle wear and tear, and boost local economies by making it easier to commute, deliver goods, and access services. Potholes cost drivers money and can cause accidents. A decaying network is also less resilient to extreme weather. Motorists are paying their share, more than their fair share, some might argue. You see, what's missing from the numbers that I've given you so far, and possibly what is the true cost, is the cost that's borne by the drivers themselves. We're talking suspension damage, bent wheels, blown tyres, repairs that can run into hundreds of pounds, sometimes even thousands, and that money comes directly out of your pocket. Plus, every hour that's lost to a tow truck or a missed delivery because of a cracked rim is an hour that's not spent earning or resting or enjoying your life. Businesses will lose sales when vans are off the road, and that doesn't even account for the mental strain of wondering whether the next dark, wet night will send you into another suspension-smashing pothole. When we talk about the true cost of our broken roads, we're not just counting billions in government budgets. We're counting cracked wheels, wasted time, and opportunities missed. That's why this really matters. So next time you jolt over a crater, think about the billions already sitting in the Chancellor's pot. Ask your councillors where their parking surplus is being spent. Lobby for preventative maintenance rather than just constantly having to patch up the holes. And you know what? Your car is probably going to thank you for all of this. Alternatively, you could get one of these and not have to worry about poor roads ever again. Probably not very socially responsible, I suspect, driving it through, say, Camden or something like that, but hey-ho. Let me know what you think, what bad experiences you've had with potholes, and if you think the government is doing enough, fast enough, to stop killing our cars on roads that are worse than, well, some so-called third world countries I'll catch you all in the next video. Shout out time, guys. Thank you so much. Hey, if you enjoy my content, why not get involved? Buy me a coffee. You can do that at either of these links. Or if you're watching on YouTube, buy me a thanks or take out a membership. It all helps. It really does.